Alright, there's this article that I just read, and I'll share the article in the description section of this video. You can read it for yourself. And it's this woman that's saying that she found an excellent man, perfect man, everything's going good, great job, and treats her family well, treats her well, everything. Perfect man. Only problem is that he's too short, she said. And she said that he's 5'6" and she's 5'9", so it's only a 3-inch difference, but she thinks it's a big deal because she's talking about her wearing her 4-inch heels and how awkward it feels. And she says that she can't get over this feeling that that he's too short. And then she said help, and then the person said, the person that she was wrote to was saying, hey, people in CEO companies have an average height of the CEOs of companies have an average height of at least 3 inches taller than the average man, and that a lot of successful people are tall, they have more offspring, they demand higher salaries. And she said that the number one reason why people basically decline people on dating websites is because of height, or the number one reason why women decline men in dating websites is because of their height. So it's a big thing, and this is something that I very much relate to. I'm only 5'5" myself, and it's been an insecurity that I've had when I was younger, before practicing martial arts and before becoming more awakened, more enlightened. It was my insecurity about my height, and it's a justifiable insecurity because there are a lot of evidence out there to show that women don't like men that are short. But this is just an article that's showing some of that. And
Are you having fun?
no, I'm just making a video. Alright, so maybe you could get involved with this video with me.
Oh, okay.
Because the article is about, I was going to share it with you, the article is about this woman that was she's 3 inches taller than her man. So she's like saying like that she can't get over it, like she's like, help me, because I don't like that he's short, but he's perfect and everything else. He's a fantastic guy. He has a great job. He treats his her family nice and everything. He's like the perfect guy. The only thing is he's short. So she said that he's 5'6" and she's 5'9", and she's like, when she puts on heels, like 4-inch heels, she's like, man, how awkward it is,
Yeah.
And then she's like, help me, what do I do? And she's the person that she wrote to, and then the woman's like, like this is, like people that are taller, they're more successful, they demand higher salaries, they have more offspring. And then she said that the CEOs of companies are generally like 3 inches taller than the average man. And then
Really?
and then they said that like all these stats, and then she said that the dating statistics on the websites, that the number one reason why women like pretty much discount a man or write him off is because of height. And she says like the statistics are like astronomical, like it's hard to believe, but she's basically saying all that.
Right.
And then she just gave her advice into like learning to just basically get over it. I forgot like exactly what her advice was, but it was pretty short.
Yes.
But basically, I'm just saying, I wanted to share the article with the people and how I related to it, because that's how, obviously I'm 5'5", so I could relate to that.
Yeah.
And then like basically, growing up, it was difficult because you have a lot of insecurities. Like you feel that you're never good enough for a woman, not just because you don't look good enough, or maybe not just because you're Chinese or a minority, or you don't have enough money, or you know what I'm saying, or and then now it's your height, and it's something that you can't change, because when you have money, I mean, if you don't have money, you could work hard to get money.
Yes.
Even if you're not in shape, you could work hard to try to get in shape. But height is something you can't change. And with this article, it just kind of shows with the statistics and what the the writer was writing back to this woman, and what this woman said herself is a justifiable insecurity that short men have, because it's a reality out there.
Yes.
And this is only a 3-inch difference. This is not even like, you're not even talking about 5-6 inch difference. You know, woman, you see, and the thing is, my sister is the same way. She's only like 5'3", but then she wants to only date men that are like 6 feet tall. I mean, that's how she used to be. You know, and it's like even short women want to date tall men.
Yeah.
Tall women obviously want to date tall men. So then it's like, what are the short men left with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I just wanted to indicate that, but at the same time, it's like, as, you know, something that you can't change. The only thing that you can do is just improve upon every single aspect that you can to be the best that you can be. You know, it got me to think about the police academy, what they taught us, like they're saying if you're a short police officer, you have no other option than to be in shape, because you have no choice because you're short. You know, but if you're tall officer, you could get away with being out of shape because you got height, you got weight. You know, and you could be just intimidating just because of your height, and just because of your weight. You know, you could you know, throw people around if necessary. But being short, you have no option but to be in shape. And I feel that, you know, as a short man that's looking for a quality woman, you know, it's almost like you have to be in shape. You have to look good. You have to make money. You know, it's like you have to have everything else going for you in order to even have a slight chance. But even if you have all of that going for you, just like this woman indicated in the article, it's still that psychological barrier that kind of makes them, you know, kind of not want to give a chance to somebody who's shorter. You know.
Well, if I can speak to that, because you and I, that's about our height difference.
Do you want me to put the camera on you?
No, it's been a long day that I've been working, but if we were standing, I would say yeah, because it would be relevant to the No, but you know, when I was younger, I had that same requirement. Like, I wanted the guys who I dated to be taller than me. And the reason being, and this isn't going to be the story for every taller woman, but for me personally, my story was it was a feeling of security and the lack of security on my part. So I felt that, you know, I was athletic, I was strong, and people who were not athletic and strong, women in particular, they would make it seem as if something was wrong with that. You know, like there's something wrong with me because I'm athletic, I'm strong, I have muscles, I'm very vascular, so like you can see veins in my arm when I'm working out. And so for me, dating a guy who was taller and stronger, it made me feel secure in my athleticism and in my stature. And so for me it was an issue of insecurity, or feeling a certain way about who I was, and it is who I am. I mean, I am athletic, I am a strong woman, and I'm 5'8". And when I was younger, I really did not know who I was. I was still on a journey. I was still trying to discover who I was and what I wanted, and that was in everything, in relationships, in my ultimate mate, in my endeavors in life, business, my purpose in life, whether or not I was going to be comfortable as an athletic, strong woman, or if I was going to allow the world to determine who I am or who I was because I was an athletic, strong woman. And, you know, so I didn't know. But as I grew and as I experienced life and as I experienced relationship and as I learned about more people, not just where I was growing up, but, you know, culturally and worldwide, and in my travels, and just really doing a lot of self-evaluation and self-assessment, and trying to figure out what is it about me that makes me feel like I have to be with a certain type of man to make me feel good about myself. What's going on with me? And so the more I did that, and I allowed myself to really accept what was happening within me, from, you know, things that occurred in my childhood, to cruel things that were said to me about my stature. And usually it came from insecure people as well. They were insecure in themselves, and maybe they were out of shape, or maybe they never felt that they could get in shape. I don't know, but it affected me in such a way where I felt that I had to fit into this standard. And standing next to a man who was taller and stronger would diminish my height and my strength. And it would make me feel more ladylike, more feminine. And I didn't like not feeling feminine. I didn't like being made to feel like I was masculine because I had these powerful attributes. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with an athletic woman. I didn't know that when I was younger. It's like a part of me was there, but then society just, if you let it, it'll ruin you. And if you let it, it will ruin your relationship. And if you let it, it will ruin the possibility for you to truly be happy with this man who might be 3 inches shorter than you. So in addressing the woman who's having these issues with, the height difference is, I am now at a point where I look at the quality of the person, and I am aware now of the things that bothered me when I was younger, the things that I was insecure about and why I was insecure about them. And, the love of my life, I mean, he's about 3 inches shorter than I am. And
who is that?
And that's my baby who's on camera. And the really awesome thing is, when I met him, height was never an issue. And when I met him, he was still the height that he is right now, and I was still 5'8", but it had no bearing on the connection, on the energy, on the chemistry, on the immediate attractiveness that we have for one another. And I am so glad that I experienced what I did and that I went through what I did, including the ridicule of being a strong athletic woman as a kid and in my early, late adolescence and early adulthood in my 20s. Because it forced me into a place where I really had to look and see, am I going to let this world determine who I need to be with, or am I going to really sit down, get into myself, and figure out who I am? And it brought me to a place where, when I met you, Freddie, I was, I was stressed out from working from school, but I knew who I was, and I knew who I wanted innately. So it wasn't even a conscious decision. I said, okay, he has to be this and he has to be that. But innately, because I knew who I was, and I knew my insecurities, and I knew my strengths, I knew my weaknesses, I knew what I would accept, what I would tolerate, and what I would not. And all of that helped me to be comfortable with who I am. I am a tall, strong, athletic woman who's very articulate, who is beautiful. I am African American. I have kinky hair, and full lips, and I am who I am, and I love who I am. And in me accepting all parts of me, perfect and imperfect, I don't look to my mate to make me look or feel better. And I think that that's what happens with certain people looking for a certain stature, like, well, my woman, she has to be this, and she has to be that, and she has to be this, and there's no gray area. There's no room for compromise. There's no room for a variety or a different type of stature, because you may be looking for this person to compensate for something that you may feel you're lacking. And and when I was younger, that was for me. The more masculine and strong this guy was, the more feminine I felt. And I'm just really, really happy that, again, I went through that stuff. I grew, I became wiser, I became stronger, and I came to fully accept who I am and to love me for who I am and every aspect of who I am. And once you're able to do that, then you can really be open to the person who truly is for you. And they may not meet the stature that, your friends or your family or that society says he or she ought to be, you know. Freddie is an amazing man, absolutely amazing. I mean, I am enamored by him. I have a great deal of respect for him. I am in love with him. I love him dearly through and through. And that is if he's 5'3", 5'2", 5'8". It's if he is in tip-top shape or if he may be a little soft. Whoever, whatever in stature, I'm looking at the quality of this man for who he truly is. And he is absolutely a beautiful and amazing person, and I love his stature. I love that he's 5'5". He has this, I don't want to use swag, but I guess for lack of a better term, he has this swag that just kind of makes my toes curl and and makes me flutter on the inside. So I'm going to stop. Anyways, but it just comes down, dear sister, I don't know your name, but it just comes down to you doing self-assessment. And you can't go according to what stats say, because I know a lot of very successful CEOs who are 5'5", 5'3", 5'2", and yes, they're men, and they're amazing people. So, these stats, I believe that a lot of them, they ruin a lot of great relationships. If you are in love with this man, and if he is perfect in every way for you, do not allow height to destroy that. It may be one of the biggest mistakes that you make, and you may be miserable for it. Because I know a whole lot of 6'4", 6'1", 6'5", 6 feet, 6'8" men who treat women like trash. And it's because they feel that their height gives them the right to do that. Because everybody is after them, men included. Everybody's after them, and so they feel that they can treat women like shit, literally, if I may be, brash. And so not all of them, my brother, he's a great guy, he's 6'2", and but generally speaking, yeah, because of that, they feel that they can treat people any kind of way, and that shows lack of character, lack of maturity, compassion, lack of all these things, and you don't want anyone like that in your life. So look at the gift that you have in the man who you're with. And if he makes you happy and he treats you well and he's beautiful in every way to you that you want, and cherish that, hold on to it. And I wish you guys well.
Thank you for sharing.